And I'm giving you a 5-minute warning because we all want to have those tasty beverages while we're enjoying this amazing expert panel and live podcast upstairs with the Bunker Project. 5 minutes.
Those that aren't aware, we held a contest on our Facebook page to bring in the last panelist. And these two young ladies took the prize single-handedly or double-handedly. They activated their community, their Facebook army, and they did an amazing job of showing us that they were the ones to be on the panel. The duo of women talking tech is Bonnie Sainsbury and Margaret Reynolds. I'll fill you in a little bit more about them because Bonnie is a very well-known Vancouver-based social media personality. She was recently named to Forbes' top 50 most powerful influencers. Bonnie makes a living as an online marketing consultant and coach. Margaret is a geeky insurance advisor doing website development and social media for beginners. She's also a maven with the Bunker Project, our guests upstairs, who are actually conducting a podcast as we speak. Thank you, Bunker Project, one of Vancouver's longest-running podcasts, and certainly the longest-running podcast that covers social media in Vancouver. Thank you very much for joining us, Bonnie and Margaret. And our final person on the panel is my esteemed colleague, Stephanie Scott, the current president of Social Media Club Vancouver, and the principal of Wildfire Effect, a social media marketing agency for small and medium-sized businesses. Thank you to all our panelists and our moderators. I'm going to hand it over to Stephanie, and she's going to take it from here. We got the Twitter wall. We have all of you lovely folks. Let's fire it up.
Thank you so much, Kemp, for that. Really appreciate those wonderful and warm welcomes. How wonderful is that? Thank you. Now, before we start today, I just want to say a big shout out to our sponsors, because I know you guys know when it comes to events, if you don't have your sponsors aboard, what are you going to do, huh? So we have to say thank you to London Drugs, who provided all those lovely giveaways. And they're also giving us a beautiful gift certificate for the winner of our favorite tweet tonight. So if you've got those good old mobile phones, SMC Meetup is one of the hashtags, and Bunker Project is the second. We're going to have our panel decide who the winner is at the very end of the night. So keep tweeting. The Bunker Project will also welcome you upstairs at any point if you want to see what it's like for a live hangout or a podcast, and they'll be taking some interviews before and after as well. So jump on up there and say hello to the Bunker Project. We, of course, have to thank Hootsuite. Now, do you guys see those table cards that you have? There is a promo code so that you can all take advantage of Hootsuite. Try it free. I believe it's a $70 value. Pretty amazing stuff, so take advantage. And of course, what would it be if we having a venue without having the Vancouver Fan Club here with amazing, amazing selection and brilliant food. If you haven't had a chance yet, you got to check that out. So, to our sponsors. Okay, and now let's get this party started. I'm going to have a question that goes out to each one of you, just to get you all motivated in questioning. I'm very, very curious. When it comes to meetup.com, or generally when you're having events or building community, it does take a lot of work. At least I'm finding it takes a lot of work. So why do you do it? That's the question I'm going to start with Mark.
Why do I do Meetup? Because I'm bored? No. Meetup's a great place to...
All right.
Here we are at the Bunker Project special social media club. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I just came here for the beer.
It's the tag teams, Bunker Project, Social Media Club.
The beer is
Vancouver.
good, except for the
Social
Cranwell
Media
Street
Sausage
tax.
Fest by Bob Garlic.
The beer's good. I've got the Scorpion Double IPA. I like it.
Oh, nice. I had one of those. It's quite good. Yeah, definitely.
I've been getting into the IPAs pretty
Cool.
hardcore.
All right. Yeah, I'm a little buzzy there. Sweet.
So we're here with Bosco Anthony.
Anthony Bosco, or you just call him Bosco.
Bosco.
Yeah, those are kind of the two names
The
that I
big
would give him.
Big Bosco.
Big Bosco.
The big Bosco.
The big
I like
Bosco.
that. I
We'll
do
go
Big
with that
Bosco.
one,
That's
yeah.
his professional wrestling name.
Sweet.
My wrestling name after
got
6
Kemp?
o'clock.
Yeah, Kemp Edmonds back on the Bunker Project once again. If I didn't have a kid and a wife, I would be there every week.
You- got a
Hey,
kid?
I've got one of those too.
Yeah, good
you
work. I
tweet
heard you're
out
having
about-
twins soon.
Oh yeah, you heard?
That's the word on the street.
I'm so dead in 6
I don't
months.
tweet about my kid. I just Instagram constantly. I'm a Dadstagram guy. Like
You're a
Dadst-
daddy Instagrammer.
Dadstagram.
Hey,
That's
are we all
the-
dads here?
No.
You're not a dad?
Well, I got
What have you been doing, man?
I got kids, but they're all part of my meetup group. You know, they're all those handy.
He's got
guys.
kids, but that he doesn't know about.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It's one of those.
He's working on it
situations.
though.
Back home
I
in
heard,
Africa.
I heard he's working on it.
Working on it soon. Yes.
It all happens to us here. Hey, anyways, so they're doing this amazing event downstairs, but we're just gonna comment totally.
Yeah, it's good.
jerks
To be
up here.
honest, I was supposed to do the moderation of the panel, but
backed out?
I have a Strata meeting. I just joined my Strata 1 month ago.
Oh, big mistake.
It's the first step to becoming the Premier of Canada, Prime Minister of Canada, which is
Yeah.
my ultimate goal. I might not make it there, but
I think you get like a
Do you have
strata.
an official hashtag for your Strata?
Sorry, guys. I thought this was a dental conference. I was here for the dental
hashtag
conference.
StrataFail because I have to leave in about 3 minutes because my building, they recently did, they're going to redo the outside so that
Oops.
everyone put money together and they got like 500, 600K. And they did some tests on the outside. They found no moisture. They're like, no moisture damage. So they started to open up, and this is in East Vancouver near Clark and Broadway. A 76 building started to open up the wood stuff. So it's wood and brick. And they found that there was no moisture damage because it was completely dry rotted, all the wood. So it's seismically, structurally, and envelope, all integrity compromised.
So when are you moving out?
I'm not. I just moved in a year ago. I have a great unit.
Yeah, but I mean, they got to fix that.
My unit might not be affected just because of the location, but I'm definitely, hopefully none of them listen to. I know they won't listen to the Bunker podcast. They're all like 50 to 60-year-old women.
Are you
right?
kidding? That's our largest
how-
No,
frustrated old women.
Sounds like a great venue for the Bunker Project.
Yeah,
we should relocate
it
there.
could be a good venue. There's probably a bunker somewhere, but I'm hoping that it just moves some of the older residents out because they won't be able to afford the 12 to 30K that they're gonna have to throw down on top of what they already threw down for the first.
Wow.
And I'm about to go and find out if it's $1.5 million or whatever. Right, like that's my estimate, my rough estimate.
So you're really excited about the rest of the evening.
You know what? It is what it is. I'm one of those guys who, if I can't affect something or change something, I'm just going to accept it.
Yep.
My
Just move forward.
I'm
I'm
worried about my
exactly the same.
wife, though. I should never have told her about this. I should have just been like,
No,
I've got
You should probably waited after the Strata meeting and then said,
Right? I just was like, oh, did you this? It's crazy. It's fucking. The project manager said, "quote broken. Your building is quote broken." I'm like,
Dead.
oh, fucking
It's better. It's just broken. It's not dead. It's very damn close to dead. but
Well,
just broken.
there's no rain damage. Like it's not one of those things where we have the leaky condo syndrome. Like so that's where I was like, oh, and it's great.
Yeah,
I'm
but
moving in
after
here.
they fix it, then you'll have the leaky condo.
No,
That's what
no,
happens.
nothing bad's gonna happen to us. So.
Anyways,
I'm
hey
not too
guys,
worried.
people that are tuning in or listening to this broadcast, this is Social Media Dads, and with our special Strata specialist coming in.
Social media dads. I like it. Yeah.
I just wanted to the theme of today is communities and stuff, and building communities. Not Camp, you were involved with stuff like that, building communities with Hootsuite and stuff.
Yeah, I did it at BCIT first. That was kind of the first place I did that. For me, building community is it's a bit of a misnomer in a way. Like you don't build community; community just kind of comes together, and you put your energy into something. You guys have built a community around the Bunker Project
Sure.
and the
Bunch of
podcast
junks, yeah.
for sure. BCIT was an easy one, and I find that with higher education, when there's an existing community, it's quite easy to foster and grow it. But it's when you grow it from scratch that it's really challenging. I think that's the panelists we have downstairs behind us. Those are people who really built their communities from scratch, and that's the really fascinating thing that they've done is they've really built it from almost nothing. First they hang out with 10 friends, 5 friends, and then 10 friends, and they're like, let's just have a meetup or an event, and suddenly it turns into 15 and 50 and 100 people.
Well, that's what's interesting, I think, about Meetup is it's one of the first tools I think that's so easy to use and seamless that you can go in there. It's like I got my hobby buddies. We do a particular thing. We're hanging out. We're doing a thing. And it's how we can bring them together and keep them connected. Oh, speaking of hobby buddies,
we've
here
got the
comes
gaming
James.
maven.
Looks like some of your beer
The gaming
evaporated, James. What's that all about? Anyway, gentlemen, you know my story. You know where I'm going. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, wait! Before you go, one quick
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Because Meetup is actually a social network. that is
Right.
designed to bringing people physically together. And Bob just interviewed B.J. Mendelsohn he wrote the book
He
Social
loves
Media
to
is
stir up the
Bullshit.
shit, man.
Oh, he loves to
What
stir
did he
it
write?
up.
What was the book? Social media what?
Social
Is
media is
bullshit.
bullshit.
And
Okay.
he says
Awesome
that
book.
it's a great book, and he's not really saying social media
Right.
is bullshit. He's saying that there's a myth around social media.
There is, certainly.
Where it's overhyped a little bit and things like that. But Bob asked him what he thinks that social media is good for, and he says, well, go to your existing community instead of working on the numbers and building them up.
Yep.
Actually try and find out who these people are and engage with them and actually meet them in person and things like that. And that's what Meetup does. That's what Meetup actually is designed to do.
That's my mantra: is bridge the digital divide. You can't do anything effective for your business or your personal life if you're just an avatar. So
Yeah.
I preach that as well. There's lots of great examples locally of people who said, "I'm going to meet somebody different for a coffee every day," and suddenly they have
They've
a
built
bunch
a
of
community.
prospects and a bunch of business and they build a community.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I think it's also engagement too. I mean, when I look at social media engagement, it really is putting life into meaningful conversations in a digital playground, and I think that that's really what's turned great successes in the social media world right now. But I mean, I from what you've told me, this guy's calling out guys like Gary Vaynerchuk on his stance on social media. So it's really great to see a different perspective from what we're used to.
Yeah, I think it's refreshing. I mean, that's one. I interviewed him for the book podcast, and one of the things I said was like, "Dude, why did you put the book out, and what was your motivation behind it?" And it wasn't like altruistic. It was just basically, look, I just want people to be aware that there's an other opinion out there. It's
Right.
Yeah.
not all
Yeah.
a silver bullet. And
Yeah. You know what? And I'm going to just kind of end on this note as like I speak to tons of organizations and individuals about this. It's just a new communications medium to do the kind of social things that humans have always wanted to do. And
It's
so,
just a platform.
yeah, and so all this talk about, and I understand where the bullshit comment comes from, and it's a little bit sensationalist. And sells books.
well, yeah, that's
books.
what he's got
Controversy
752,000
sells
Twitter
books.
followers now.
Yeah.
752,000. Nice.
Yeah, so it worked.
He probably took advice from Ryan Holiday, from the PR guy from American
that
Apparel.
That book is awesome.
Well, his book's coming out. It's called "Trust Me, I'm Lying," and it's
Oh,
about
no,
how
that
he
book- that book's
manipulates.
I
been out-
interviewed that guy.
Yeah, and it's
That
about
book's
how he
been awesome.
manipulates the
Thanks,
media.
guys. I got to run. But
All
it's
right,
been a
Good luck,
pleasure.
buddy.
Good luck with
later.
that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
So
Awesome.
going back to the book, right? The
Yeah.
Trust Me, I'm Lying. I mean, I just did the BCA Vision Conference last week, and he was on stage. He was one of their headline speakers.
awesome.
And he showed how he basically turned different things, different clients of his into these media attention, headline grabbing. Like it was
Massive
insane.
tsunamis. It
Yeah,
was
I
nuts.
mean, the big one was with Tucker Max. It was about this whole
Yeah,
dating
exactly.
thing. And he was responsible behind that. They staged a protest about young boys couldn't go watch this movie.
Yeah, and they vandalized his billboards.
And in the end, he said that he thought it was a staged protest that turned real.
Yeah.
And CNN and all these other people were like calling him and asking for his opinion. So I'm really looking forward. I think his book's coming out July 19th.
no, it's already
Yeah,
out.
it's out.
Or is it
It's
already out?
It's been out
Yeah,
for
I
months.
I got a copy. I can get
You
it
know
to
what?
I've got
Bob,
it. I've got it in my coat.
That
in my
is my
Kobo.
next read. So any one of you guys
Well,
gives me
listen
that
to
book,
the
we'll get a free
interview.
beer.
He's hilarious. Listen to the interview I did with him. It was like 30 minutes.
When did you interview him?
About 2 months ago.
Is
2
he
months ago.
local or
No, he's a New York, LA type of guy. I mean, he's
he knows his shit?
big time.
Knows his
big
shit.
time.
It's all good.
Yeah, they're you're being louder than the speakers.
Oh, we're being too
The
loud.
hell
Oh,
of them.
we're being too loud.
Okay,
I
so
blame
we're good.
Bosco.
We're actually doing good content. That's why we're getting excited.
I shouldn't heavily breathe on the mic.
It's my job.
So,
baby.
So yeah, so I was going to say that this guy. There's other examples too, like the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, back
Yeah.
in UFC 4. They were trying. That was back when they were banned on pay-per-view, and they were trying to get more people into the stadiums. And actually, it wasn't even a stadium; it was just like a little auditorium in Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah.
So they staged fake protests. They paid people to stand outside with signs saying "This is brutal" and blah blah blah. Next thing you know, they sold out, but then they got all these negative feedback from politicians that actually tried to shut them down. So it was funny.
Well, I think
But it
just goes back to the point that controversy sells. I think in many
Yeah.
ways, and I think that
Well, no publicity is bad publicity.
no,
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that at the end of the day, regardless of what medium you choose or you pick, as long as there's a little bit of controversy to the norm of what people expect, it's going to intrigue people. I mean, I was blown away with this kid when he got on stage and he started talking about how the media is easily manipulated. He basically put it this way: the media looks for syndicated content, so it looks for stuff from blogs blogs. So the best way to start is basically trade up the chain and start from the blogs and leak stories to the bloggers that the media pays attention to, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all it
exactly.
takes.
And then it gets picked up, and then you have and then you just do something else to light the fire, and
Yeah.
it's throw gasoline on the.
Anyways, going back to the community part.
Yeah, exactly. So that's nice. I'm getting drunk here because we have it's a classic bunker show. Is if we digress, we get to drink, and I'm like 3/4 of the way through this.
Yeah, that's some good
fantastic,
beer.
fucking
Killer
amazing.
Bee.
Yeah, I'm having the fruity
Do you-
beer. It's
okay,
great.
you got the killer bee.
I got
You
the
got the
Killer
gay
Bee.
beer, and you got the.
I've got the double IPA.
Oh yeah,
A-
very cool.
Double hops.
anything the Bob Garlic says is property of Bob Garlic, and no way affiliated with the Bunker Project
And
show.
whose
I
voice
did-
is that?
I did that to a client
That's
today.
the voice
I
of
oh,
the
did you?
so
gaming
pissed off. I
maven.
said, you know what?
That's right.
I withdraw my copyright, and if
So
you
you're
want-
saying that's a Marcel beer?
basically, if you want to change the artwork, let me know the artist, and I will bill the artist.
Oh,
And
wow.
and she totally flipped out. But under Canadian law, I can do that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Don't fuck with Bob. Is basically what I'm
That's
saying.
basically what
That's good to hear. But yeah, I guess I should introduce myself. This is James Carg
Don't
at
do that
Twisted
when you're,
_
use your name.
What?
I'm James Card. This guy loves
James
himself,
was
right?
vibrating his.
What?
Hey.
I'm not vibrating.
No, he was scratching his inner thigh.
No, he was just playing with his shitty BlackBerry. Don't go.
Don't give him a hard time about the BlackBerry. He's
I actually have a list of things to say about the BlackBerry today.
It's all good though because
Well, I'm a defender of the BlackBerry.
yeah, like I don't understand why you hate on Canada.
It's not the hate.
it's
not the
it's a
hate.
functionality.
What about
man.
BlackBerry bringing
Okay.
your BBM messaging service directly
Well,
to
let's talk.
Android?
Okay, I
Hang
want
on,
to
my
talk.
iPhone's
Okay,
ringing.
let's bring this back. Yeah, let's bring this back. Or like
With
hang
your
on.
My
with your
Android
giant
phone-
hands, I don't understand why you don't have an Android.
My Android phone just
He
died.
doesn't have to compensate for his penis.
I
That's
don't
all.
have to compensate. buddy.
I'm just saying, like he has very large hands.
I'm gonna get a
and
new
my
Android penis because
Are
it's
you on an
really-
iPhone, Bosco?
I am an iPhone 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my Android phone just died, so I've got to get another phone. I got an iPhone for work, and I've
Yeah.
got my other work number is on an Android phone. But now I got to decide between a Z10 or a Note or a Note 2 or something like that.
I kind of think you should go for a S4.
Oh, fucking
S4.
awesome.
Are we still introducing
Yeah, but I don't
James?
want to spend the
No, we're
full
just-
pop price for a phone. I want to get
Another
a.
hit.
Well, that's true.
I
Yeah.
don't- if I get a Galaxy, it'll be either the S3 or the Note.
You know what?
This three
You know
is
what I love
awesome.
about the Bunk Show? We pick a theme, but then there's so much energy going on.
Never get on
We
it.
actually get back to the theme like in the last 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah, well, that's what it's all
Well,
about.
okay. Well, what I want to talk about. Let's talk about the Android community, the BlackBerry community, and
Okay.
the iPhone community because that is fucking hot stuff. And let's not even bring up what's it? Those other guys, the Microsoft
Windows.
community.
Actually,
Yeah.
Windows is going to take over.
Windows is going to do really well,
I
Bob.
know
and
they
I mean,
are.
as much as Bosco hates on BlackBerry, he is in kind of the minority.
Well, you know what?
Eventually.
I shouldn't say that I
Is that a
hate the
racial thing,
BlackBerry.
Bob?
They're going to have
I
a
used-
strong.
Is that a
race.
racial
They're
thing?
gonna have
We're a
strong
minority.
I
That's not
used to
even
have a
racial.
BlackBerry. I used to have a BlackBerry for 4 years.
Yeah.
Had one of those World Edition phones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it for text messaging. It was great. And obviously, obviously the new BlackBerry has a lot more smartphone features. But back then, I just really liked the iPhone.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they're calling my name.
Already?
Let's go back to the event here for a
Oh,
second.
people are waving. Yeah.
Let's go back to
And
the
also the bunker and the bunker project, and those two particular meetups are a no selling zone. You go there and you get information. In the case of the bunker, you get to put your 2 cents worth in, and I think that.
And we have beer and wine.
Oh, we do. I forgot about. No, I didn't. So, when I go to a meetup and it's a selling zone, I think to myself, that's like 1980s. Move on. This
I love
is,
Bonnie.
we talk about community.
She
I
does her
want it
stuff.
to be community. I don't want you to sell me a bloody workshop, whatever. You
Yeah.
can tell me
Amen. Preach it,
about
Bonnie.
Damn it!
who you are and what
I can't bring
you
up my new
do.
workshop.
But I feel fairly strongly about
Well, it's
no
about-
selling zone.
It's about providing great content for your community.
Is it called goatee?
Wow, we've
How to
got
grow
some
goatee
really
and
how to
good
grow goatee.
insights on building community
like it.
here. But how about the audience? You are the community. Are there any questions that I can take from the audience at this
So what
time?
we do is we get a question for the audience, and then we're gonna answer.
Okay,
it.
we're going to move on to the
Awesome.
next
Because it's
question
totally
then. Oh, look, we've got one.
Okay, what's the question?
What's the question? Why is Bosco so awesome?
When you're booking a speaker for the meetup,
Booking a speaker
other
for the
than there we go. Other than being relevant to your group and interesting and useful for your members, what are you looking in terms of factors that make you decide I will
Forget
choose
what the question.
X or speaker
What was the question?
The question
Is
is,
that
how do
to
you
one of the
choose?
panelists or all of the panelists?
anyone who wants to.
The question is, how do you choose a speaker for your group for a meetup?
Yeah.
So,
So you ask them what kind of beer they like.
well, so I mean,
And
there's
how
a
much they charge.
So I can actually speak to this one, and
All right.
maybe be kind of educated because we are running Startup Weekend pretty soon here, and
All right.
that was one of my things was trying to find a speaker, and it was like, what do we look for? And for us, we were looking for people that have done the entrepreneurial thing or a large company, and really made some wide sweeping changes with what they've done. And so for us, we look for somebody that can produce a very positive message. What's up?
What's up, Canada?
What's up, Canada and U.S. and everyone else?
Just camera sluts.
But we always look for somebody that's going to be a
Can't see me in
good.
the dark.
Oh Jesus!
It's
showing
all
some teeth.
makeup. It's all makeup.
So that's one thing. I mean, if I was going to get Bosco, I'd make sure he was very well backlit when I have him at a meetup. I'd make sure that it was a very well lit venue,
Well,
according to what he just said.
And going,
I'm only going off what you said.
well, going on to what you're talking
But
about.
you're a great speaker. I mean, you have a very good stage presence. You can't have somebody get up there and go,
He has
"Hi,
a s-
my name is
He's
so and
got a
so."
side presence. That's what I love about his presentation.
I got multiple personality. I think that's really what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
Me?
But you know what it is?
Oh, he's totally
It's-
schizophrenic.
It's
man.
practice, right? It's practice. And you know what? You guys actually, because you do the Bunker Project week in, week out, you guys also have a ton of practice with this as well, right? And I think that when I got into the speaking scene in Vancouver, you can only get better. You suck, and then you get better.
You wear really good outfits, though, too. Do you think that has anything to do with your confidence
I
when you
love
get
it.
on stage?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because I think when you look your best, you actually perform your
Well,
best, right?
yeah, you gotta dress for the part.
Yeah.
You know what it is? There's an old saying: you look at one person in the audience that makes you feel warm inside, and just focus on that person.
Ooh,
and
that
then,
can be dangerous, though, can't
well,
it?
not
I've
really.
had women throw beers.
Bob, there's nothing.
Because Bob is a very big
like
leerer.
drooling.
There's
Like,
nothing
I
more.
like
Seriously
you
sit on their
do
laps.
leer.
There's nothing more relaxing.
He
than
does
Bob's
kind of
hair.
look at him and
Yeah,
like-
or lack thereof.
like we've
My
had
nose
female
hair.
guests on the Bunker Show, and Bob just asphyxiates right onto that woman and asks her like a billion
But
questions.
going back to your question, I think
Very
it's also
personal ones,
interviewing
too.
the speaker too,
Yeah.
and identifying what their strengths are, what they're really good at, and maybe even seeing a sample of what they do.
You know what? That's a very good point.
Yeah.
When you're choosing your speaker, it's more about what value can they bring to your community.
Yeah, it's a
so when
value
you
add.
interview, it's basically say, "Hey, Joe, I hear you're really into blah,
Yeah.
and our audience is concerned about blah.
Yeah.
Could you speak to that point
Right.
in the presentation?" And nobody asked that.
And you know what I really like about, and credit to the Bunker Show, but there's one thing that really
Get
is
on
one
that
of the
mic.
biggest selling feature for
Mic
me
that-
There you go.
is personally how you guys stay current. Like even today I come in and he's like, "Hey, have you heard about this book called Social Media is Bullshit?" And that's the thing that you need to do with your speakers is they need to be current. The last thing you want to see some guy on stage talking about how
MySpace
the
is the next
panda
big
the
thing.
panda update is great when we're already on Penguin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stay current.
What?
Okay, that was a very techy thing. But it's more just somebody coming and says you really need a website for your business because that's what's going to make it happen. And then the first question is, but what about mobile? And they say, oh, mobile doesn't work, and because they don't believe in that because their model, their business model, doesn't represent what's happening now.
I mean, I was at a meetup and the guy was like, "What's
Well,
podcasting?"
I
And he was
mean-
a presenter, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I gotta leave."
Well-
The exit. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Bonnie had something really good to say too, though.
Yeah.
Is if you're gonna have a speaker, don't let them be selling. I mean, like they can mention the organization if it is like we have one of the local accelerators coming into town called Institute B, and we're doing a disruptive technology event. And their whole thing is focused on the triple bottom line, which stands for people, planet, and profits. So environmentally sustainable, people driven and profit driven. So it's actually not like bad companies. So for them to come on with our event for being disruptive, that's very disruptive.
Yeah, it's
and that's
very
why
cool.
we chose them as to be some speakers. They're also representing, accelerators, which most of these entrepreneurs are usually
Yeah.
looking into.
Yeah.
But they also have some of the coolest stories you'd hear. Vertical farming, that kind of stuff.
I think also you also have to look at someone who's willing to take risks and get outside the norm. I mean, I for the most part have been a victim of this where I've strictly focused on talks where I do social media or internet marketing, but I'm actually writing a presentation right now called Hustle. And it's basically designed for startups. And my goal is to have this talk to inspire people who are struggling or starting out on how to get to.
I'll book you for next June. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Now, we were talking about
And that's Hacker Nest Meetup. You can look for it in Vancouver or Hacker Nest.
Shameless plug.
Hey,
and
you know-
Bosco Anthony will be performing there.
But I want to go back to Bonnie's comment about you can't plug. Of course you can plug. You can plug stuff that's going to give value.
Absolutely.
So it's like, hi, I
But-
want to talk about my multi-level marketing system.
Yeah, don't
Well,
ever
fuck
do
you.
that, yeah.
But basically, if you're talking about, I think you should go to this event because the speaker is awesome and you're really going to learn something, that's cool.
Yeah, it's also your approach, right? I think
Yeah.
I think Bob, one of the things that you and a bunch of us do really well is the fact that we if we're trying to sell something, it's more coming from a recommendation level.
Yeah.
But I think there's also inbound marketing, right? So if you give out great content, people are going to come back to you and want to talk to you about these different things, and that's really what business is about. Is we're past that stage of pitch marketing. And personally, I really don't want to buy a MonaV product or Visalis.
You know what's interesting is like using the word pitch products in the advertising industry. It's still pitch based.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to go to the client, you actually pitch the client instead of saying, "Look, we went out to your community. We did a bunch of YouTube viral videos with these guys, and this is what they hate about your company, and this is what they love about your company. Would you like to fix that?"
Yeah.
That should be your pitch.
Yep.
Nobody does that.
No, but like at the Bunker Show, we do have a segment where in the roundtable where you could actually self-promote what you're doing, or if you have you have a
absolutely.
talk,
The
you're
round table, yeah.
totally appropriate to say, hey, by the way, I'm doing this talk. If you're interested, blah blah blah, or I've got this product and blah blah blah. That's totally fine. But if you try and dominate the conversation and
You get
sell it,
You know, it's just like when I talk about Startup Weekend.
yeah,
Well, and I think
exactly, and that's totally appropriate.
And I think it's
Which is
also-
this weekend.
It's also different for corporate events because
Sign up now.
Sign up
I
now.
think when people go for advertising, Bob, there are a lot of people who are making those decisions in the advertising world are still old school marketers who basically were raised in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, where Mad Men existed. You know what I mean? And so, in some sense of
That's so funny you mentioned that, because there was
We're
a
all
guy.
madmen at this table.
There was a guy that was at this this conference I was at, and he was from this very large firm, and he was like, "You know where the kids are? Tumblr." And I'm like, "No, they're not."
Speaking of Tumblr, holy
And
smokes.
he told me to, and you know what he told me?
$1
He told me to
billion.
mind my space, and I was like,
what's
"What?"
Tumblr, guys?
Yeah, I think that's that thing Yahoo bought for $1 billion.
Oh, right.
$1
Okay.
billion.
Which as soon as somebody buys it, it's not cool with the kids anymore.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to
Absolutely.
figure out the Snapchat stuff. It's just for showing your channels.
Hey, you know what? I love Snapchat.
Yeah?
I show a
Have
lot
you
of
seen
stuff
his
to Snapchat.
journalists? They're awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
He's got marketing on him.
but yeah, a lot of these firms, are usually ran by people a little bit older. They don't have the agility to really go
Well,
on their feet, right?
yeah.
Like even I guess Amy's Bakery, was it a while ago?
Oh, Amy's. I was waiting
You
for
know-
someone to bring up Amy's Bakery.
Well, we talked about it on the show before, but
Yeah.
we never got your opinion because you couldn't join the hangout that night. But they could have used a social media firm to
But look on the
possibly
bright
help
side.
them.
People you talk about causing media attention. I mean, let's face it. Great advertising.
Oh God, yeah.
You get on. You basically their strategy is, hey, shit on everybody, and you'll be famous.
Yeah. Controversy does equal cash. That's
yeah.
what WWE has gone
That's
for
crazy,
year in,
man.
year out. But
yeah.
these big firms that think that they trying to figure out how you advertise on YouTube, that's going to be the next kind of big thing, right? Is how do you engage with content, and how do you make sure that your advertising realistic to the videos that you're promoting?
But you know what? It's not even that. It's like I get pissed off. I'm going to YouTube less and less now because every goddamn time I go to a video, it's like a stupid ad. Even the 3 seconds, it's like fuck you.
Yeah.
The guy that made the video isn't making any money on this.
He is.
YouTube's making the money.
What 10 cents?
Yeah.
And the
or
other
like a 15th or 100th
and the challenge that I have with YouTube is also quality, right? I mean, I have this
don't
other
get me
challenge
started.
right now where these people go to these presentations and these conferences, and then they're like, "Hey, you have to be on YouTube. You have to have a presence online." Great. So they decide to go home, make a shitty video of themselves with no stage presence, and expect that to organically be great on number one on Google. And I'm sitting there going, "What are you doing?"
But
Well,
this
that
goes
is
all the way back
different,
to social media's bullshit. That is
Absolutely.
the problem because when I was chatting with the guy, he'd go on, and then I just surmise it, because this is what we talk about all the time. He said blah 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 blah, and that's why. And he said, "God, that's exactly right."
Yeah.
Well,
And,
in social media's bullshit, he brings up all the examples of most of the viral videos that have happened, and he says that
Totally
they
corporate orchestration.
go organic to a certain extent, virally organic, but
Lies.
then there's always a mainstream media push that puts it
That is
over the edge.
in a sense, after that, it is further, right? Like I don't really agree with them. I do think there are videos that do just generally go viral. Like,
Well, yeah, the thing
you
is,
know,
though,
the quality
But
of
what-
size.
is the-
Can you give an example though?
Well, like size video was good.
Which one?
Like, sure, maybe the record company or whatever, Psy Gangnam Style, you know, was a solid video. You
yeah,
know,
but
any
it
of that
did
kind
have
of stuff.
it did have support from the.
Oh, look, that was a moment.
Let's,
I think we
let's
just called
cut
it.
over to
But
the.
in the meantime, what I'm going to have you guys do
Oh,
is
shit.
interact a little bit by meet somebody and take a photo or get a quote and put it up on
Yeah,
that
I gotta
Twitter
go.
feed for us.
All right, thanks,
so we're
James.
going
That
to
was
come right back
but,
here in
but,
5
but continue with my
minutes.
YouTube stuff.
Now we're going to bring somebody else. in.
Homework.
Just hang on.
Homework.
All right, you can talk about
Just hang on.
you can
With
talk-
with hanging on with the YouTube thing. So
James
there
will be
are
back in this short message.
well,
Please,
there,
I don't
there,
want to go downstairs. Oh, please don't
no,
take
no,
me
no.
downstairs.
There are videos that do go viral. I mean, you know, Maru the cat and all those sort of
Double
things.
rainbow.
Double rainbow, those
But
sort
the
of
thing
things.
is, there was no marketing behind
I ain't
it,
got
so
no
there's
time with that. I
Yeah,
mean,
know,
you
but there
never
was
know
no-
what's going to
there
take on.
was no commercial value.
Beyonce saying, "Hey, don't put my pictures up."
How about the book, Go the Fuck to Sleep?
Yeah, go to fuck to
Oh,
sleep
that
is
was
big done.
friggin'
Samuel
awesome.
Jackson.
Great, yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
but look at Samuel Jackson. Come on, he's got.
you,
like,
YouTube did a
all
really
the
big
social
push
media
this
teams.
last week too with Comedy Week, where
well,
they
we'd
had a
have
bunch
to,
of people.
you'd,
So
you'd have to look at at the progression of how it went viral, and I think after reading the book, I understand a little bit more.
Yeah.
Once you hit a certain
threshold,
point,
though, yeah, the media does pick up on
no,
it.
not just that, but YouTube will feature it on the very front page after it hits a certain point, and that just adds fuel to the fire and makes it explode to millions of
When you
views.
get to a tipping
Yeah.
point, sorry to quote a book.
Usually
but
it's about-
that's what it's about. You're striving to hit the tipping point.
Yeah, after you hit 50K, you're usually going pretty far.
Well, the thing is, though, if you get to a certain point, do you have a marketing department that is ready
No.
to actually capitalize on it? That's where
Yeah.
everybody fails.
Well, here's a big fail, right? Actually, again, BCMA conference, Vision conference,
Yeah.
great conference. They're talking about digital marketing and retail, and so Oreo Cookie decided to come up with their slogan for supporting gay people. So they had this Oreo cookie with different colored creams,
Oh,
and so
sweet.
they had all this engagement online. But here's the shitty part: the fail.
Yeah.
They didn't make any Oreo cookies with those colors.
I know.
And
Why
it
did
says
they do that?
It said, "Oh, the creams in this advertisement was isn't real." And I'm sitting there going, "Are you kidding me? I would be marketing the shit out of
The
that."
best
now."
part,
They should-
the,
they
be-
could- they
the
should've-
best one I saw was
They should've
Ragu.
done- They should have done Benetton. I think,
Bingo.
and then Benetton.
I'll see you guys on the
and then
stage.
in
I'll give you a
one
shout out.
box, you would
All
have
right.
all these different colors in because everything mixed together. It's totally fucking cool, man.
Well, and that's the point: is the fact that there's so much opportunity with attention. But if you're not gonna, look at let's look at Two Girls One Cup, pay-per-click advertising heaven.
Yeah.
They made millions off of that video, and it was disgusting.
yeah, I know, but the
Marketing
thing is,
department.
they had it together, right? It's all about having the back end figured out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, sorry, we digressed a little bit. So they're taking a little break downstairs. We're not going to take a break because we're fucking rocking it right
We're
now.
awesome.
Yeah, we're the best. Buy my product. Let's get. I'm going to get one of the guys from what's this place called?
Social Media Club of
You know what?
The Social Media Club.
I'll give my seat to her, and I'll come back.
All
in
right,
10.
cool.
Yeah,
Can you
let's do
score
this.
us some beers?
Yeah, I'll get some.
All right, awesome, dude. The dark blackberry shit.
I'll just get some of my gay beers.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're doing a little bit of a venue switch over.
We're
So
doing
look at the
musical
club.
chairs.
We're gonna just do a little feed downstairs. So it's like nobody's there. Ah, they run away. They're eating guy goblins. All right, Dudovicki's. Put
Okay,
that headset on.
slide over.
Slide over and we're done.
We got a couple people joining us here.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks for hanging. I'm gonna just swing it around.
All right, so we've got the Bunker Project Communications Maven joining us again at this special event. Marilyn
Marilyn.
Anderson.
It's another M word.
Yeah.
Andrew, you can be
Think
forgiven. It
Manson.
starts with your last name's initial too.
This
It
is how I
does.
remember. I think like Seattle Slaughter, Manson. Say Margaret. Margaret.
Except it's Marilyn, Bob.
Marilyn. Yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah you
Oh no,
just.
Marilyn Manson. Yeah, and then I had to. Sorry, it's the beer. What can I
I'd still
say?
like to be
Fucking
memorable
killer.
here, guys. I really would.
would. Oh well, you're definitely memorable. Definitely memorable.
This is great. I love this venue and I love what you're doing.
Apparently, we were so excited that we were actually being noisier than the guys downstairs. Is that what happened?
I know I was sitting downstairs and I could not hear you, and I knew that you were up here doing this because I popped up to see you before. But it's great. I love the location, by the way.
It's
Yeah,
very
it's
cool.
good.
So
club.
kudos
Very,
to
very
Fan
cool.
Club for
It's a great
this.
place.
Yeah,
definitely.
We actually chatted with the PR lady before, and they
She's
got some
great, isn't
very
she?
cool. Apparently, went down to New Orleans and stole a bunch of stuff down there from the floods and used it in the club. So you should come out.
Really?
Yeah. So if you come here, ask one of the managers or ask the bartender, show me the stuff that you stole from
Hurricane
New Orleans.
Katrina.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the door, it's all made of doors down
I'm
there.
sensationalizing it a bit. She didn't call it that, but I think that's what's cool. You know, what are the weird stuff
very
that's in
cool.
here?
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Bob got excited because he's a found art artist.
Oh yeah, I'm a totally found art artist. So.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it's totally
amazing.
cool. Yeah.
So what's your name?
Wayne Racine, and I'm part of the Social Media Club Vancouver here.
It's first time on the Bunker Show.
It is the first time. I've known about the Bunker for a long time now. I'm friends with James Carg, and I'm sure he's a regular on your show.
Oh
and
my
Yeah,
God,
he's even got his own segment on the
He's
show.
got his own segment.
It's called Gaming with James.
He's always bugged me to come down and be part of it, but it's I've just never been and had a chance. And I've also known about Bob as well, and we've been at the same events and things like that, but I never got a chance to actually introduce and say hi.
Come closer to
Cool.
the mic.
Oh, come close to the mic?
There
We go.
much
Can you hear me better?
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Everybody's going.
So we do have an official Bunker project tomorrow night.
Okay.
So if
you
you're,
should
if
come
you're,
on down,
if you're not,
dude.
if you're available,
Yeah,
come on
well,
down. It's at
I'll see
13.
I'll
48
I'll look
Robson
into
Street.
that for sure.
Yeah,
We do
It's
two
always a lot of
shows. 7:30. First one starts at 7:15. Second one starts at 8:30. So you can come for one or you can come for both.
Yeah, and show 2 is
awesome.
completely friggin' nuts because we were pretty pissed by then.
Okay.
So absolutely. So tell us what you're doing with the Social Media Club and how you're helping build a community.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm part of the Social Media Club because I work for a larger company and I do a lot of their digital marketing. I do all of their digital marketing and also their social media and everything. And so that's kind of how I got involved with I knew that the one thing that I know is that social media is great. You can do that behind closed doors kind of thing, behind your computer and like reach out and engage to your customers. But one of the things that I also was very aware of is that, use online to get offline kind of thing. And so...
theme.
Yeah, so it was, one of the things that I did in the beginning back in 2009 for this company was that I would actually go out and, kiss babies, shake hands kind of thing,
The
be there.
political angle.
Well, it wasn't political. It was just more the fact that, I could sit behind my computer and make this grow to a certain level, but I knew that if I put a face to the name and there was actually a human being behind this, because this is a very large corporation, and if I could do that, I knew it would grow. I knew that there would be more of it would be more of a magnet to engage because they would be like, oh, I know that guy and he's from behind this and we did see that uptake. We did see that sort of thing and versus our other corporate competitors and everything like that, we saw the fact that we even had people commenting and saying like, oh, this company is so great, but how come this other company is not so good? And people would jump in and go, well, that's because they have real people behind them.
Yep.
So that made a huge amount of difference.
Well, that's a classic angle with Twitter. They have these guys that's like on Twitter, and it's the corporate logo instead of the person, and it's like, "Hi, I'm from Chuck E. Cheese" or whatever, and say, "Dude, that's just so uncool. Why can't you be John from the marketing department that works with Chuck E. Cheese and say, John, you can reach out to John. You don't feel like reaching out to Chuck E. Cheese. It's like, look, I had my Chuck E. Cheese bad experience or I had my Chuck E. Cheese good experience. John, can you tell the management that they did a great job or a bad job? Then you feel something's getting done. But if you're going to a corporate icon, it's like you feel like, no, I'm talking to an advertisement that's not working for me.
Bob, my first experience in that was in 2009. Bonnie and I and Barbara Wesley were at the social media circus in Las Vegas that year, and it was amazing. Okay, but we stayed at the Hilton. We're having breakfast in the executive lounge thing one morning, and this young woman is sitting beside us, and we invite her to join us. So now there's 4 of us having breakfast. She was Twitter for Nike.
Wow. That's
Suddenly, every time I saw something about Nike, I have this image of a real human, because no matter how great you are online, at the end of the day, we want to do this, shake my hand.
Exactly.
It is about
exactly.
this, and that is the magic of this in my mind, to be able to reach out and connect with someone anywhere on the planet by virtue of a screen like Bob and Andrew have there,
Yeah.
and get to know each other as human beings, but knowing that we can do this behind it all. That's the power of it. To me.
Absolutely. And if I could just jump in there, though, I mean,
Please do.
and not to be on the negative side of things, but there are certain things that companies that are large, like a Chuck E. Cheese or Nike, they're very apprehensive about putting a face to the name. We know that works. We know that, like, either putting even a name. There's certain companies out there that are really good at, like, even if they do have that corporate logo, they're good at signing in and signing off with real names that we've seen and out there. But because social media doesn't have that kind of controllability from a corporate standpoint, there's a lot of apprehension from the higher levels to, like, kind of let people that understand it let loose and do it. And you try and give them the sort of here's what we really need to do and here's what's going to work. But there is a lot of there's fear.
See, I believe that is why Apple has the culture that they have created, partly because Steve Jobs had incredible vision, but partly because we knew it was Steve.
Yes.
We knew it was Steve, and Steve's people followed Steve. It was a culture.
He had a whole cult following behind Steve.
But there was an immediate personal connection. You didn't look at an icon and think, oh, it's Apple, or oh, it's an iPhone. Every time that something changed in that company or that culture, every time they had an outreach, which was a promotion and a sales pitch and a new toy, woohoo, and I'm not even an Apple person, but his credo was that he was going to engage with you and you and you and me regardless, because he was out there, he was a presence, you knew his values, you knew his position.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And also just in the way that he described the new product.
Well, and he invited you into his community, just like James does when he washes dishes on Sunday night.
Exactly.
Hello. It's about people feeling welcome and respected and safe there. And when you can do that, people's minds open and so do their wallets. It's very powerful.
When the iPhone 5 came out, it didn't have the same pizzazz that previous launches did, because Steve Jobs, if he was launching the iPhone, he would have made a big deal about the lightning cable, saying it was beautiful. He would have said, look at how it goes. Like the way that he would have done it, everyone would have been salivating over it, instead of saying, oh man, I got to buy a whole new set of chargers.
See, I think that Bill Gates is inherently a very brilliant but a very shy man.
The other thing that I want to
he's not a good speaker. He doesn't
have the charisma.
Well,
no.
Steve had a conversation with every single person in every single audience, regardless of how many thousand people were sitting there.
Yeah.
And the difference between a conversation and a presentation when you're at the podium sells. But it makes a huge difference.
With Steve Jobs, he was criticized for being stingy, and Apple didn't donate any money, and Microsoft is, Bill Gates is, the Gates Foundation and whatnot. But now recently it's come out that they've been giving out
behind the
money
scenes for years.
anonymously, in which, to me, that I respect that a lot more.
Exactly.
Than putting your name out and saying, look at me, I'm giving out all this money. But they've been actually giving tons of money out and doing it anonymously. So
I think a lot of corporations are like that too. A lot of good corporations that are solid. I know that the company that I've done a lot of things for are absolutely like that as well, in terms of like not putting it out there. They're not there for the recognition. They're doing that because they're part of the community. Again, it's like a community engagement piece where they're not going like they don't want the recognition. They're like, no, this is just a good thing to do. This is a good thing.
We're doing this because we want to, not because we're going to put a press release out.
Exactly.
And part of me is asking in the back of my head at the same time, because I quite agree with what you're saying, but I'm wondering how much Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett have donated anonymously over years.
I'm sure they have.
But now that they're solving tuberculosis, it is TB, isn't it? Tuberculosis?
Malaria.
Or malaria, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
They're eradicating a global problem. But they've come out publicly about that. I wonder how many things they've done behind the scenes, too, because we don't know what we don't know.
It absolutely could be. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, cool. So we were talking before about the book Social Media is Bullshit. Have either of you read that?
I love the title. I have not read it yet because I have a little bit of like, okay, I can agree with that title.
You know what? Many years ago,
I love social media, by the way, but yeah, I could agree with that a little bit.
In 2008 at the Harrison's publicity seminar in New York, I had the pleasure of attending it with a client. So we're there for a week, and this is all about getting these people who are paying a lot of money to be in Bradley Harrison's group in front of 100 bookers for everything from Oprah to the Cooking Channel, honest to God. And there was a lot of back like behind the scenes prep stuff going on, and the kind of things that people go through, the hoops people go through to get heard, to get seen. It's phenomenal, the amount of preparation that goes behind what would be for you a 90-second exposure to that booking agent. But at the end of the day, it's about having your presence and having your persona and being real. And the people who got the best responses were the people who were real. Now, Alex Carroll was
Surprise.
Yeah. Hello, real, raw, relevant. Can we spell the 3 R's? But Alex Carroll was one of the coaches that was there in the run-up to all of this, and he had written a book about how to not get traffic tickets. He'd been booked all over radio shows for years, and he made a lot of money doing it. He was brilliant at analyzing someone's presentation and coalescing it into just a spot-on title. But some of those titles were designed to stimulate controversy and get attraction because he wanted to get invited onto radio shows. That's what that book title says to me. As soon as I heard it, I thought of Alex and the Bradley Harrison Publicity Workshop, 7 days. And I thought, that's a publicity bid.
So you're talking about like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like somebody actually going against, even though we're all like in love with social media and we love this kind of thing, but he's just doing this to go against the grain to cause a bit of a
Well, that's what I thought.
A bit of a bump.
That originally I thought he's just raising hell, and I think he is doing that. But what's really happening is he was a new media man. He's no stranger to social media. He's been doing it for a while. He was a new media manager for an ABC television show. He's got 752,000 Twitter followers.
I don't think you could call a book that title without actually being involved and not and at least not generating some interest.
But he said that he used to be into it until he found out they were all assholes. And
that's hilarious.
He's still a fan of social media.
But he voted himself off the island. Is that what you're saying?
Bob interviewed him for the Business Book Talk podcast and interviewed him about the book, and basically says that exactly what so far everybody at this table has said tonight. Is that social media is great for lead generation, but you want to take the online relationship offline. And he said that's what it's good for. And this idea that you can just go on social media and all your dreams will come true is a myth. And
so a lot of people are making a lot of money selling that particular platform in a lot of ways.
That's what his book is about. And it's interesting though, because at first I thought, okay, and when we brought up the book on the Bunker Project, everyone said, oh, this guy's a hack. He's just trying to get, create this title. And
Bonnie told me she used the word hack 3 times.
Yes, she did. And I read the book. I'm almost finished it. I'm at chapter 14, 13 or 14, and I think there's only 15 chapters in the book. So I'm almost at the end, and I really, really enjoyed reading the book. It's a good book. And the guy is a character. He's a professional wrestling fan, and he's targeting Gary Vaynerchuk because he says to be the man, you got to beat the man. And hey, Bob.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about social media's bullshit.
Oh yeah, but who's that guy that does Yeah, guys are being sarcastic in front of me. Who's that guy that does those amazing interviews? What the fuck?
Oh, that's Mark Maron.
Mark Maron.
Mark
He's
Maron,
totally
WGF podcast.
He loves wrestlers.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you could actually swear on this podcast because that's amazing.
I didn't either.
Yeah, we're marked explicit.
No, you're not allowed to.
We used to be.
Yeah, you did.
This is G-rated. Did they not give you? Didn't you have to sign that thing on the way up here? Yeah.
We fought that for a long time, the explicit tag, but finally, I said I'm not editing this shit out anymore.
Oh, this is the Bunker Project #explicit. Is that what you're telling me? Got it.
So we're marked explicit in iTunes and other places. So we do.
The thing is, you get drunk and you're not allowed to swear, and you can't use the word tit.
Well, I love the fact
you can't use their shit. I mean, it's like, what the fuck's that?
I love the fact that you just said, well, you get drunk and you can't, and it's like, well, wow, that's insane too.
After
I
all
love
that,
this podcast already.
After like something like 80 episodes, and I'm like, you know what? We should be explicit just because we're in a bar drinking alcohol anyways. So mark it explicit.
Yeah, and my opinion was like, sure, what the fuck? It's like, oh, we better make this show.
Well, and does that really stop anyone from watching it?
Absolutely not.
Of course not.
No. People
what happens is like
people will look for it because of
it.
Well,
it's implied reality, because if you say explicit, I think explicit is the wrong word.
No,
people look at that and they think, oh, it's sexually explicit. They think it's like, oh, it's penis and crap like that. It's like,
that's the problem with the only. It's either there's 3 options. There's either no tag, clean, or explicit. So you can say clean.
So
Which
Apple's
is-
giving you a lot of leeway there.
Yeah.
Typical.
If you say explicit, to me, when I hear the word explicit, I think pornography.
Yeah, you're gonna see like boobs and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're
Or
on, that you're going to see them, not just say the words.
Yeah.
So you need an X-rated language.
No,
kind
they
of-
should just what they should
Like a
do
harsh
is
language thing. You
No,
know, like,
Yeah, yeah,
It's
just
so
a
simple.
language.
Should have
Why
harsh
not make it like the movie ratings? We could say general. We could say PG. We could say PG-13. We could say restricted.
I don't even know why he doesn't follow that.
I
That
want
just
to be
makes
triple
sense.
because I would like to be triple X.
No, I mean
Flashing
the
my
Bunker
penis
Project.
on the
We would
mic.
say
Too bad we don't have
we would
video.
say PG-13 could contain coarse language. That's it. That's all we'd have to say.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know what, that probably would work as well because it would be like back in the 80s when all the gangster rappers like threw on the explicit sticker. You'd probably
Sales
get that.
went up.
Yeah, exactly. Sales would go up.
Exactly.
It's all marketing, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think coarse language would be an appropriate addition to the tag list.
Yeah, that's all because that's
That's all it would
is.
take. That's
Yeah, because
all
then
it
you
would
could take
take.
it off of like the video side of things. Like
Yeah.
obviously you're not going to see anything. You're just
Yeah.
going to hear something.
We'll just have to wait for Google to do that.
No, but there
first,
are
then Apple can
explicit
copy.
audio
Right.
podcasts. There are like erotic audio podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
So like
I'm
phone
sure of
sex
it.
on
I'm sure of
podcast?
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There is.
Oh yeah.
See,
Definitely.
okay, I'm sorry. I'm either
Audio
too old or
porn.
too innocent. I'm not sure which.
You got to
but-
think of any medium that would take this kind
Yeah.
of format. They're going to throw
Yeah, of
some
course.
sort of adult stuff.
There's,
in.
there's like triple X audio podcasts. So when you see the word explicit, a lot of people associate explicit
So
with
if-
that.
so if-
and the Bunker
so-
Project isn't that.
Well,
except
unless we get lucky.
when we're
Why we
outside-
have bubbles today on
except
our show.
when we happen to when the back
This from
room
the
is
man who
full.
talks about picking up his kids after school, right?
When the back
Yeah.
room is full and we have to be in the front and all these Japanese girls are walking by and Bob's like waving at them.
Hey, it's just sex. I mean, the whole thing that North America has is they're just all hung up with sex. I remember when I was in Japan, and in Japan they've got these places called short-time hotels, and they're basically designed for sex, but they're very, very cost-effective. And when we were traveling in Japan, we used to book into the short-time hotels because it would cost you like $80 instead of $300. So,
Thanks, guys.
You know, I'm a cheap bastard. What can I say?
Wow, this is amazing because it's kind of going all king of all media, Howard Stern style now.
Oh, you know, back in
It's like-
you
it's-
bastards.
See, you know, Howard Stern does these prank call things on his show,
Yeah.
and I remember years ago, like we're talking like 15 years ago, in the store I used to work at in the telecom industry, we used to do that too. When we were bored, we would do that, and then he started doing it, and I thought that would be a great idea for a podcast.
Great bit, yeah, that would be good.
Like you just call two people so that their phones ring at the same time, and then they think that they're calling each
Oh,
other.
yeah, the Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
brilliant.
it's hilarious.
Dude, let's bring up the what's happening up downstairs,
All right.
and then we can trash them a little bit.
So it's the content of the meetup. Do you
This
think
is
that
James
drives more
Clark from
people
the
to your
Bunker
meetups?
Project.
Absolutely.
People are hungry for knowledge.
Hungry for knowledge.
Hungry.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Starving.
I have to ask you guys, since you said you had small meetups to
Awesome.
start off,
Karg's
what's the
got a-
most
got a beer in
embarrassing
his
thing
hand,
you
so this should be
did when you
interesting.
first started doing meetups
He did
that
say he
you'd
was
just
gonna
be
mix
like,
it up,
hey,
so-
maybe
Oh, I know, I
don't
told him
do
to,
that.
too.
Like,
Excellent.
you know, you did like a Hawaiian theme one time and people showed up and it wasn't that much fun, or over serving people. No?
James was
Anything
born when
like
he was
that?
around.
So
So
we
I
like
think one of the
sportscasting
most
this one? Like,
embarrassing
you know,
moment was like
Yes,
I think
I'll
we
do
had
color.
the mayor
Excellent.
of Vancouver to our meetup. And so I think we had like 160 people there,
So
and I was
Disney
trying to
van.
get everyone's attention. So I like used 2 wine bottles and clanked them together, but they
One
broke.
I know this story.
And so, like, we had to get everyone together and
no.
start cleaning up, mopping. And I was like, oh my God, there's glasses everywhere. And I was like, Mayor, do you mind stepping over the puddle of wine over there? He's like, well, yeah, okay.
I don't know what you guys.
Okay,
but
a
I'm
puddle
kind
of
looking
wines
forward
aren't
to going to
exactly
one
the
of
best
Mina's
idea.
events.
Okay.
Mina's events are
Women
pretty
Talking
rad.
Tech,
Mina's
has
pretty
there
rad,
been
too.
any kind of interest?
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in here. Mina Van does awesome events. Everybody that goes to events is asked to bring a bottle of wine, and she says she's got an amazing wine collection because there's no way you get 150 people turn up to an event. That's 150 bottles of wine. We drink maybe 60 or 70 bottles, but still there's several left over, and we are seriously pissed because, okay, I'm like I could do like a bottle and a half and fall over. So your average person is good for like a half a bottle. So
Okay, I'm going to bring up the audio
Brian,
here.
Brian
sounds like
Solis
good
just
shit.
recently had a new book,
So
right?
those
I mean,
technical
as far as
difficulties
embarrassing
are right
moments,
there?
if you've ever listened to the Bunker Project, there's lots. We just don't talk about them.
We are so far past embarrassed.
Yeah, Mark, you got any embarrassing stories?
I think
Any
the
social
most,
media?
Most embarrassing thing that happened at our meetup is I'm terrible with names, whether it's spelling names or
You probably shouldn't bring up the
introducing
name
your
anyway.
speaker and getting their name wrong, stuff like that.
Thank you for that answer, Will. Jonathan?
I guess for me, one of my most embarrassing times was we had somebody at one of our meetups and told me that he was quite the SEO guru and stuff and was tweeting from the meetup and it was all good. And then a lot of people followed him and we're all starting to sort of connect with this new guy who we'd never seen before. And then I went 2 steps deeper with his SEO and then realized that he promotes like this swinging porn site in Langley. I'm like, oh crap, that's awesome. So I'm like unfollowing as fast as I can, but you know, it's too late when it's out there.
So you'd say it was a very swinging time.
But
Yeah,
did he
wasn't
do
that-
good
that kind of
SEO?
meetup?
That's what I was going to ask.
All right. So is there any tips you can give for people going to a meetup for their first time to really optimize
Participate.
it?
If you're going to join a meetup, please go. Don't just join a bunch of meetups, and don't RSVP for everyone and never show up. It's it's like go join in. If you decide it's not for you, it's just not your thing, then leave the group and make room for other people. But more just go, because I've got some great people that on my group that come regularly and it's fabulous, and I've got some people that keep joining but never show up. It's like, well, and my other, can I say my pet peeve?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're going to join a meetup group and, there's a bio, please let us know what you do. And if you have a Twitter or Facebook and you're willing to connect with people, put it on there, because it's all about connecting. It's networking, for Christ's sake. So, and when I look at your bio, I don't want to see that, that you like long walks on the beach and sunsets. It's like, I want to know what your business is.
Wait. That could be a totally different meetup.
No, this was on Meetup. This was on Meetup.
Because I love long walks on the beach.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
who doesn't? Yeah. Come on. Let's give it up for long walks on the beach. Yeah. Because if you're at the 20s,
we know, James, but that's not what you lead with on your Meetup bio.
So, but you can go to Meetup and you can change your bios for different groups that you do join, though, right?
Yeah. Well, you as you should. But the thing is, there's been groups where it's like, hey, well, who's on here? And it's like, don't know what they do, don't know what they do, don't know what they do, don't know what they do. Okay, I'm whatever.
Yeah.
What about the it was good to see you thing? Do you guys like that, or do you think that's kind of silly?
That is so.
Get on the mic.
So regularly, I get, it was good to see you. I didn't go.
Yeah, we can clap for that. Yeah, you didn't go. Yeah.
So when that happened,
You have such a social media presence, you don't even need to be there anymore.
Right. And so what I usually do is I send back, it was good to see you too. and these are because, and so I have signed up, and then for some reason I couldn't go.
You're one of those.
Yeah, no, but I say, sorry, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So I'm at the bottom of the list that said I didn't go, and they still say good to see you, so I'm not sure what they're smoking on these.
Maybe it's one of those Langley meetups. I'm sure. Anyways, so Mark, what do you think about this sort of stuff? As a first time going to a meetup you've never been to, how do you make an impression? How do you find people that are like-minded? Do you just go up to the organizer and go, man, I love what you do, even if you don't even know who they are?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I highly recommend that.
Meetups is all about meeting new people. So if you're not meeting new people at a meetup, then you don't.
You're
what
kind
are
of
you doing?
wasting it, yeah.
You're wasting the opportunity. And good to see you button is like the poor man's,
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Please join
Did
my
they create
professional
that button
network.
because Vancouver's so bad at follow-up?
That is very true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, following up with an actual direct message from Twitter or mentioning directly to whoever you met there and got their Twitter handles and stuff is leagues farther than just pressing good to see you.
So I don't have an issue with you commenting on a meetup if it's genuine. But give me a break. There for a while.
gotta get a little louder.
Somebody decided that it was okay or that you were supposed to comment on every single meetup you went to.
Oh, Jesus.
Give me a break. Not every meetup is worth commenting on, and sometimes you just don't have enough to say. So the fact that there's 30 fake comments after a meetup, after a while, you just think to yourself, it's not worth it, right? I mean, there's no point in having any kind of dialogue if it's not going to be real.
Genuine.
You mean saying just great to see you all doesn't
Yeah.
really have a lot of value?
Okay, so don't press that button. Mina, you got anything to throw in on that? No?
I don't really care.
All right. Well, okay, so my next question, I guess I'll start with you because you got, nothing to throw on that. How do you differentiate yourself with so much other things going on, and how do you make yourself relevant to the communities that you're trying to expand?
I think this is like kind of a double-edged sword. If you try to stay relevant, you look like you're trying way too hard. So you just let it be casual. Like, if the community says, I would really want to see someone speaking about, say, marketing or sales, then you just provide for them. I don't think you should try really hard. You have enough people there to give you opinions that you don't need to be like, I need to get a superstar. Because sometimes the best speakers are the people within the groups itself.
So you guys promote more internally through the group rather than...
I find people who are proclaimed experts or authorities are full of shit.
Yeah, Mina Van just swore. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's great. That's fucking awesome.
No, we want that.
Sorry, I just swore too.
I find that people who are actually in the battle, like they have scars to show, they have they have like the medals of honors that they've overcome a battle. That's way more honorable than people who have like, I wrote this book, I got this ebook, I got this stuff. It's like, shut up, you don't know shit.
You want the real people in the
We
battlegrounds.
want real people that have gone through stuff. I think because as entrepreneurs, you can't speak to what you don't know. You can't theorize this stuff until you've gone through it. You've gone through the pain and you've gone through the battle, right?
Jonathan, what do you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, every time
Get on that mic.
Every time I get up to speak and someone's just introduced me as an expert or a guru, the first thing I say is, no, I'm not. I don't think I ever could be, and I don't want to be labeled as that, so I agree with you. I hope I'm not full of shit, but...
So the key here is to not be full of shit.
I think it's very, very key.
All right.
Yeah.
Whoever thought that would work on social media or in person, like being yourself, who the fuck wants to do that?
But the real secret is being genuine.
Is being genuine.
And,
You actually have to like people to do it too. I know some people that go,
hey, he's not finished.
He can finish in a second. But it's relevant.
Just because you won the commenting thing doesn't mean you can interrupt.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Bonnie says so.
Okay, so Jonathan, you're saying just don't be full of shit.
And be very genuine, and don't pretend that you're not. who
And
you really are.
don't get people to give a speech and then try to sell something and hold them hostage for half an hour.
Hey, I have a question for them.
Oh, Bosco Anthony's here. Yeah, let's give Bosco Anthony some love. Yeah.
Okay, all of you guys are entrepreneurs. I'm going to ask you a very basic question because we all started out as an entrepreneur. We built our tribes, we built our communities, whatever you want to call them. So for each of you guys, because I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people here that are starting out, here's a big question for you. What's your biggest fear in business today?
What's your biggest fear in business? Who wants to hit this first? I'm going to give it to Mark. Because actually he works for one of my favorite companies in the entire world. And yeah. What's your biggest fear? Is it that you're full of shit? Because that's my fear. I'll go first. I'll say it. Like when I go to do a meetup and that sort of stuff, I am worried that people will think I'm full of shit. But you get me with 3 beers in and I'll tell you what's up.
Sorry, James, the question was for the panel.
Oh, you said for all of us. You're fired. All right, go ahead. All right, do you got one? Anybody?
My biggest fear is that we don't lose the internet and electricity.
Oh.
Because if we do, I am totally...
How are you going to get stuff done? That's so true. How would you update your blog?
No power, no business.
Would you get like a rock and a chisel and throw it out that way?
Chalkboard.
So you mean as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. What's your biggest
So
fear?
My biggest fear is nobody's going to buy it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy anything.
Nobody's going to buy what I'm selling.
That seems like a common fear. Margaret, you do a lot of selling on the internet, and your business is.
I don't sell on the internet.
Well,
at
not
all.
selling, but you have a good product. You've established yourself as an expert. You're not full of shit.
No.
So what's your biggest fear?
Not really scared of the internet.
Not being scared of the internet.
No, I'm not scared of the internet. It's like, no, it's like, I don't know, you just ignore the fear, just keep going. It's like same as people going, well, who are your competitors? Well, who cares? They're not me, I'm not them. Let's just all get along together and there's enough room for everybody.
Mina?
I think my biggest fear is I don't know what I don't know.
I think you need to celebrate what you don't know.
Mark, you got.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it costs you money, though.
It does.
But then you know it, you don't do it again.
That's actually a better mistake to make, is to spend money and learn those lessons than to not spend the money and think you know those lessons, right? Because that can be very costly in the long run. Mark, did you get one?
Yeah, I think my biggest fear for business is I think the most important aspect of an entrepreneur is their passion and their self-motivation to continue working for yourself, working for your product, and going along those lines. I guess the biggest fear is waking up maybe 30, 20 years in the future and not having that passion anymore.
Yo, that's a clap-worthy moment. Come on, yeah. Hey, Bosco, wait. What's your biggest fear? I think he's saying getting smaller. Anyways, do we have any questions from the audience? Just to ask? Yeah? Come up to the mic. Because this is an open dialogue. I can't really respond to your tweets, but somebody's sending me tweets, so.
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's your name? Who are you?
My name is Kevin Cruz.
What's your Twitter handle?
Cruz KV.
What do you do?
I'm a student at Simon Fraser University and also an inspiring entrepreneur.
Woo! Yeah! And you're not afraid to talk in front of people.
Yeah, I guess so. Since we're on the topic of entrepreneurship, if you could go back in time as entrepreneurs right now, go back in time and talk to your former self during that time when you were starting up whatever it is you guys were working on, what advice would you give yourself? What's the biggest lesson, I guess, that you've learned so far that you would tell yourself?
Wow.
At least 2 minutes to prep.
Wow, that's a
All
good
right,
one.
well, we've got our mic
I'm
live
not
already,
going to
so
respond to
that's
this. I will maybe later. I want to see what you guys have to say. Yeah.
I think you just.
Okay, so we just brought down the mic. We got is it Lindsay?
Tech Lynn.
That's such a evocative name.
Lindsay, what do you do?
All right, Bosco's gonna be handling.
Okay, so Bosco is going to conduct the interview.
I am going to conduct
Lindsay.
the interview. I'm going to put
I'm
Lindsay
gonna jump in
on
and
the
make
set.
people pissed off.
All right.
You've totally thrown me on the spot here.
That's
What
what we
do?
do.
I run a digital marketing agency. Oh, there we are. Hello,
you're
everybody.
oh.
We're running this on Google
So
Hangouts.
what's
Love
the
it.
name of...
Massive Media.
Hey, wait a minute. Were you at the Social Local Mobile or whatever conference last year?
She's heard of those before.
I've heard of them. Yeah. No.
Actually, we'll affiliate Lindsay with organizing one of the biggest events that just happened a few weeks ago, the BCMA Vision Conference.
Yes, that was just last week.
I was fortunate to be one of the social tweeters for the social team, and I have to say, it was a great conference. My biggest takeaway was Ryan Holiday, whom you interviewed at your show.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. Tell us a little bit about the BCMA.
BCMA, BC American Marketing Association. So it's a group of professionals. We have a membership of over 500 people here in BC, and our whole focus is to connect marketers within the region. So everything from getting professional expertise, connecting with other marketers, and learning more about the industry.
Cool. You want to ask her about your social media is bullshit question right now? Because you've asked every person that's come on your show.
He's in love
Hey,
with
I was going to lay that to rest for the evening, but we've been
Now
talking
that
about
you've
this
dragged
book.
it out.
We've been talking about this book by B.J. Mendelsohn, social media is bullshit. And basically, he's calling out
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary Vaynerchuk and
several other people.
Several other people.
Why
and
would he
said-
call him out? I love Gary.
I love Gary.
I
What's
love
wrong
Gary
with
too.
Gary?
I
We all love Gary.
What the fuck's his problem? Oh, am I allowed to swear on a podcast?
You're allowed to swear. You're
Oh,
allowed to
okay,
swear.
it's not like radio. All right.
You have to
Hey, don't
take
worry,
a sip
we
of
got
the alcohol.
we got the explicit
Just don't
tag.
say tit, okay? So
Every other word is allowed.
All right, go for it. Questions.
So so this guy B.J. Mendelsohn, he wrote a book called Social Media is Bullshit. He's targeting Gary Vaynerchuk because he's a big pro wrestling fan, and Ric Flair always said, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. And Gary Vaynerchuk is the man in social media, so he's totally targeting Gary V. He's saying that he lacks credibility, and that he's bringing up contradictions in his book, Crush It, and the Thank You Economy.
He's a little bit nitpicky, I must say.
Oh, he's very nitpicky, and you know what? Like we could be nitpicky about him too, but I mean, he is a really good guy. He's funny. He's a really interesting character. When he goes and debates somebody, like a social media expert, I can't remember the guy's name. Dave Kirpin.
Yeah.
Dave Kirpin. He debated him at South by Southwest.
Oh,
and he
totally
came out
hilarious.
in character as a pro wrestler. Just that whole shtick.
Yeah.
And totally like dissed the guy and
I will take you to the mat.
Apparently, he wasn't allowed to bring up bulk book purchasing and accuse him of bulk purchase. That was part of the agreement. But then then Dave Kirpin admitted it himself, and then it was open territory. So he came down on him hard for bulk book purchasing and said that you didn't use social media like you claim to bring your book to the New York Times
Basically, he's
bestseller.
using controversy to sell the book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
it
brilliant
sounds to me like
tactic.
it sounds to me like he's just going, okay, well, I know that Gary, it's kind of like the old Twitter rule that you're like, okay, I'm going to mention a celebrity and then I'm going to get 50 followers if I mention Justin Bieber. It sounds the same thing. I'm just going to mention Gary Vaynerchuk and then I'm going to automatically associate myself with his name
Yeah,
because
that's what
I'm
he's
saying
doing.
something important and Gary's going to have to respond.
Good
for him.
He's like trying to become the anti.
Christ.
Well,
Vaynerchuk, yeah.
controversy does sell, though. Controversy does sell. We
Well,
already
he's got-
know that.
He's got 752,000 Twitter followers.
Good for him.
Okay.
Good for him.
And
that
social
means
media
nothing.
is bullshit.
What? Yeah. Well, that's one of the things
I'm
he's
like-
saying. Is like just because you have a whole pile of followers doesn't mean anything. It's your relationship with those followers.
It's the influence that you have.
And
Yeah.
that's what an agency's supposed to do.
And
is, like,
chapter
go
10
in
of
there
the
and build
book
those
is actually
relationships.
titled "There's no such thing as an influencer."
Yeah. Oh, he's pressing all the buttons.
He's
Okay,
pressing
so
all the
I got a
buttons.
He's
question
saying, I bet you, oh, sorry.
go-
I was
no,
just
go
going to
on.
say, because that one hits close to home, because, I mean, clout score, everyone's going like, I hate clout scores.
What's
It's
clout?
like, well, yeah, what's
Yeah,
clout?
oh, it's such a
Clout is
Although I have to
buttons.
say that I
Buttons.
respected clout a lot more coming from an analytics background. I loved clout when it was all about actually looking at the metrics, whereas when they redid the entire thing and they were like, okay, we're going to dumb it down to consumers because
Yeah.
no one's going to understand what we're talking about when we show you analytics scores and
So
what your
basically,
velocity is.
It's puke on a dashboard.
Well, basically,
Well, I
what
fucking loved the puke on a dashboard. I love that shit. But anyway, getting
this industry would be a lot better without customers. Because then we could really do it right.
Okay, you totally got me on that one.
Yeah.
You
Amen.
totally caught me
Amen.
on that. But hey,
Can
if
we
we're going
tweak
to
it
talk
this
about nerdy
way?
things around, like, yeah.
Fuck you,
You're
man.
right.
I
At
know
the-
you're my client, but fuck off, okay? We're doing it this way. We're doing it on Twitter. You don't like it?
It's totally
get
a
the hell
different
outta here.
podcast. I forgot to mention that this is a totally different podcast
Yeah.
from what you're used to.
Yeah.
It's not
So-
CBC.
It's not CBC.
Well, Craig Griffiths from Australia, he wrote on his blog, he said, when he gave a review of The Bunker Show, he said, these guys don't take themselves seriously.
Yeah.
Ugh,
And that
I
about
find
sums
that
it
quite
up.
offensive.
Yeah.
But he's from Australia. What the hell can you say?
Here's
Right
some
there.
tissue.
God,
You know?
But their toilets go backwards, so,
So,
you know.
Lindsay, do you do a lot of social media projects for your clients, or are they more like PPC, search engine? Like,
Yeah.
where is your industry
Where's the
going right
value?
now? Yeah, where's
Show
the
us
value?
the value.
Where's the value? So, are you asking me more specific? Because I feel like talking about my clients is going to be boring for everyone. So,
Well, what are you
it-
focusing on? What are you
Okay.
focusing on going forward with your brand?
with our brand?
Yeah.
I would say that it's more about the bigger picture of how all of those pieces fit together. If someone comes to me one more time and says, build me a beautiful social media Facebook page, can you build me a social media plan? I might have to barf a little bit because at the end of the day, it's all about tying it all together and telling a really great story and figuring out how your search engine optimization, your online campaigns, it's all going back into the traditional agency model. It's just that
Yep.
no one's fucking figured that out. I am such a potty mouth. You guys are totally
Drink,
cutting me
drink,
off.
drink,
Yeah,
drink,
I know. I'm
We've gotta
totally getting
rev
That is, that's
Crank that.
and that's
Exactly.
a theme. That's a theme that keeps recurring.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the potty mouth. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah,
but
getting
the
back
traditional.
to it really is about telling a great story and figuring out what your consumer wants or what your client wants, and then tying it in. And it's just because it's been like this for like 15 years, and it's interesting for all of us who have been watching this from the I guess the trenches, going no, it's really not a separate issue. Like
It's the
like
same,
why
yeah.
do agencies have interactive divisions? Yes, okay, you've got your specialists in those departments, but really it's all the same story. We're telling the same thing, and you're just using the tools.
Because clients are fucking idiots.
Hey, speaking of clients for fucking idiots, have you heard the blog Clients from Hell?
Ah,
dude, you got to read the
fantastic.
blog. Awesome, great stories about nightmare clients.
If
which I'm sure
if they ever have a reality show about what actually goes on in my office, then you will know the truth. But until then,
we love our clients.
I love them
I
all.
love our
They're
clients.
amazing. They're
Yeah.
so smart.
Yeah.
But really,
So is it
wouldn't you love
integrated
an
marketing?
agency that's like that?
Yeah,
It's integrated
essentially
marketing, right?
It's figuring
Everything
out
is-
how to how do all the pieces
Yeah.
fit together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And having a back end strategy. So if it's successful, what the hell are you going to do? Do you have the sales guys prime for it? Can you interface with the new clients?
Yeah.
Can you make them happy? Can you build a relationship? Because I would say 90% of the time people, they'll do whatever type of campaign, regardless if it's new school or old school, they don't have a back end strategy. And it
Yeah.
blows my mind. So, we spent $350,000 on a radio campaign and we have no telephone people backed
To
up
actually-
for the 50,000
or
calls
also,
that come
or
in
also
over
they're
the
just
10 months.
sending the people to their homepage, and they have no way of
And
knowing.
the homepage doesn't do any capture.
They have no way of knowing.
I started my
okay.
agency with the idea of going, okay, it's all about conversion optimization. All I want to do, I assumed that these people had it figured out, and I was just going to be able to take things with their website and make it all magically work. And then I went, holy shit, your website sucks. It's fundamentally broken. I better build those. And then I went, holy shit, your branding strategy sucks. I better help you with that.
And then it ends with, holy shit, you have no idea what internet marketing is all about. Let me start off by defining what a website really does for you.
Wait a minute, that
Just
should
sign
be
me
your
a blank
brand.
check.
Yeah.
That should
Holy
be your
shit,
brand.
sign me a blank check.
That should be the
Every
name of your
6
company.
months.
Holy shit marketing. That's awesome.
Holy shit marketing.
I
Well,
love
why
it.
not? They came out with the holy crap cereal, and
That's
people
true.
buy that.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah, or blank
That's
check marketing would
Yeah,
be
blank
another
check,
good one.
yes.
Yeah, it'd be
So
Absolutely.
what's digital technology, digital marketing, what's a big trend right now that you're seeing in the industry?
That's true.
I love that question, but honestly, I feel like everything that I think is totally normal might be a big trend. But
What excites you? What wakes you up in the morning and you say,
Besides
"Geez."
coffee.
Besides coffee.
coffee, I drink decaf.
And besides being on the Bunker Show.
Yeah, that's
yeah, actually, I really like your show so far. It's very
Hey,
interesting.
cool.
You guys are having good conversations.
Well, we're doing another one tomorrow night in our regular venue, which is
That's
at,
when we really
where
go
is
crazy.
it tomorrow night?
the Barclay Hotel on Robson Street.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah,
We
can
take over the
totally
back
take over the
room.
back, yep.
Unless it's not available, then
We
we're
have
in the
8
front room.
microphones instead of 4.
Yeah, we've got a Bonnie Sainsbury, Margaret Reynolds from Women
The
Talking
lady
Tech.
from
regulars.
Movement Tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
James Carg is usually there.
We do a hangout. We invite
Bosco
people from all over
is
the world.
is there every
I'm
now and
usually
then.
the suicidal guest that comes
Yeah,
in every
sometimes
few
we
weeks.
get people from Australia popping in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You should
And
see
we-
me at 8 o'clock at night.
And we
It's
bring
separate
people
group.
in from overseas on Google Plus.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah, it's very, very multimedia. But hey, anyways, so I want to shout out for the small businesses, the many, many small businesses here in Vancouver that had limited budgets. What would be your advice to moving forward with online strategy? I know it's a tough one because you're going to need 50,000.
Well, because I want to go back to this concept that social media is the way to go, but it has to be done right. So
Yeah.
I would say that don't get caught up in all of the crap and the hype of all the different things that you can do. Choose 1 or 2 channels that you can do really, really well. Figure out where your audience is hanging out, because I feel like we're like, oh, I'm just going to have a Facebook page, but really you don't know what the age of your audience is and where they actually hang out and what they're interested in. And so you've got to actually figure out, what are you selling? What do people care about? Where does that audience hang out? And then how do you mimic a voice through that channel? When I say channel, I'm talking about Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Like, what is the voice that they want to hear, and how do you become that personality for them? And if you just pick one and that's where your audience is the most, then you're going to be a big fish in a small pond. So you might as well do that well, as opposed to trying to be everything to everybody, because you're just going to burn out. And
But
that's the biggest thing
classic
with small
marketing.
business. It is.
You know?
It is.
And-
It's
and
true.
that, you were talking about it earlier. It's like people just don't get. Just because it's social marketing doesn't mean it's different. The standard has been going on for 50 goddamn years. Figure it out, people. It's all about
and
relationships.
I think a lot of people avoid engagement. I think this is what I'm hearing from
yeah,
here
yeah,
is,
fair enough.
hey,
Fair
you know,
enough.
there's got to be some sort of social media marketing foreplay going on within brands, and I think that doesn't really exist with some companies where
Not at all.
they expect to put puke on a platform and go, hey, sell it. You know, let's pitch your product. Let's pitch your your
Actually,
base.
I'm glad you're bringing that up because I feel like sales has fundamentally changed in the
Absolutely.
last 15 years.
Yep.
People no longer are okay with the push
Yeah.
tactics.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do not want to be talked to. It's that way in conferences. It's that way in trade shows. It is everywhere. They want it. The me generation is not a me generation. It's a me society. I want my voice to be heard, and I want engagement between not just between me and the brand, but against each other. And that's because it's a great concept in the sense that we are all better together having a conversation and plugging into each other's minds than we are on our own. So
Yeah, and I think it's also the why and the you generation too, because you know what? Let's face it, everyone's talking about themselves, but when you're interacting with people, a lot of people just want to be heard, and I think that that particular element is missed sometimes with marketing campaigns as well.
Well, you know what I find interesting is, I got 2 daughters, and one's 12 and one's coming on 14. And
Fun
the
times.
And yeah, thank you. And I gave them Chromebooks, and those Chromebooks are on every single goddamn second. It's amazing how much bandwidth is going through those units, and they don't even think of them as regular computers. And my daughter came to me and said, "Dad, how many projects can I put on a 4 gigabyte thumb drive?" And I said, "Honey, don't put it on a thumb drive. Put it on the internet, because if you get a Chromebook, you get 100 gigabytes of storage space." She says, "Okay," and that was it. It was done. So now she's on the cloud, and her whole presence is. And I wait a minute. Look, at if somebody steals your Chromebook or somebody steals your thumb drive, you lose it. And she goes, "Yeah, but if it's on the cloud, nobody can take it from you." And
So-
she goes,
so
"Oh,
you're like-
okay."
See, I'm just taking that stuff for granted.
Yeah.
Like that's just normal to me now, and it
Yeah, I
sounds
know,
like it's still
but
not.
The thing is, like, we are so far ahead of the big information tsunami. Like,
Thanks, you just called me a nerd.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I think the term she's going
not
for
a
is
nerd, a
digital
geek.
native. I
A
think
geek.
that's what she'd
Oh,
rather be
digital
called.
native. Oh,
Digital
I-
native.
Oh, I like that
term.
Yeah,
Okay,
digital
good,
native.
I
good.
use that term in a
Yeah,
tweet
yeah, we'll use that term today, digital native.
yeah.
Because heaven knows you're like the ancient Ice Age kind of dude,
Oh
right?
yeah, man, I am so fucking old that
Hardly.
I talked to me. He was like, "Oh, this is old fucker," and he's talking about stuff that is so far ahead.
But
of
you know
my
what's cool?
reality.
You're buying your kids tablets. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Well, no, Chromebooks.
Chromebook.
No.
Oh,
You know,
sorry, I take
they
it
don't
back.
even have a goddamn
And
hard
next to
drive.
sevens. You got next to sevens too.
Yeah.
All right, you're a tech nerd, right?
Yeah, what's your favorite
What's
toy? Come on,
tell
spill
us a
your
little bit about
guts. Come on,
TechLens.
let it.
How did you become TechLens?
That is not a fair question, and I.
Excellent.
Excellent.
She's spending way too much money.
Spending too much time.
Bingo.
Well, I think that everybody, I hesitate because I get called an expert a lot, and I don't think that's a fair term because the reality is those of us in tech, you can
We
you
don't know
can
what the
be
hell's
there.
going
It's
on.
such a huge field. So how do you be an expert in anything? So anyway, what gets me going in terms of I love my freaking Android Note. I love that gadget to the life of me. Have you guys seen it? It's freaking huge.
So what,
Can I show?
Show.
It's like I laugh because when I first I got it as a demo from Samsung because I was like I gotta
Oh,
try
she's
it out
pulling out her
lip
massive
gloss and
phone.
lip gloss.
Wow.
But it's a large phone, right?
Yep.
And I kind of made fun of it at first, and I was like, who's gonna hold that? Like, where's your phone? Do you have an iPhone?
I have an iPhone 5.
Okay,
so
let's look at the
oh, yeah,
iPhone
she's
5
got a
compared to the
play
thing.
phone.
It's
He's got a
freaking
toy
huge,
phone.
right? It's so big.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you emasculate a man: is you put his iPhone right next to the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
she's
anyway,
bigger
so
than
at
him.
first, for the first week, I was like, oh my gosh, it feels like one of those old brick phones. But the reality is I'm so used to the screen size now,
Oh, yeah.
and I love the Android platform.
It's
and
all about the screen real estate.
it really is that now I'll put an iPhone in my hand and I'll be like, is this for a dollhouse?
Yeah,
like it
exactly.
just
It's a
my
little
brain is just
toy,
like
yeah.
I don't even understand. It's like it's not I can't take it seriously anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't take your phone seriously.
Well, the whole
Thanks.
the whole idea
iPhones are for
behind
old
Apple
people.
is that Apple wants to have devices that can be used with one hand.
yes,
and I think,
yes,
I
it's
think
true.
they're
I
losing-
can't
This sounds-
reach all aspects of
this
my
sounds
phone
dirty.
with one thumb.
This
But you
sounds
know what?
dirty.
You don't
I
care.
can't diddle it with my thumb. No,
Yep.
in every corner. Did I
So-
just do that too?
Yeah,
you
you
did
did.
it big
Oh,
time.
my.
Oh yeah.
We're only on live air. It's all good.
Yeah, and it's recorded on YouTube.
Sorry.
So no
And
worries.
it's recorded on
This is
YouTube
so much more
too.
exciting than global. I don't have to filter,
So
and it's still live.
tell us a little bit about your media background, okay? Because
Yeah.
these guys are
You've
intrigued by
dropped
you.
global twice. Come on, quit promoting those corporate bastards.
I know they're corporate bastards.
Atta girl.
No, I just do the tech. What do you say when you moonlight on the
Your throughput.
Yes, I
You
throughput on
throughput
global
your
Tech
data.
Talk segments.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I do,
so I'll go
data
on and
dump.
I'll nerd out for like 4 to 5 minutes at a time, but it's real TV, so you
So,
have
okay.
short periods of time to engage.
So who are the co-hosts there?
Steve Darling and Sophie Louie are the morning.
Steve Darling.
Yeah.
Can you believe that guy's name?
Steve Darling, I know. Hey,
He's so cute. I can't.
I used to
That
I used to
hairstyle, I
sell
love it.
them phones.
Did you?
Yeah.
To
I
Global
had-
or directly to Steve?
To Global.
I thought maybe
The
you just show up at
corporate
his door and go, which one do you want?
exactly.
Which one?
I was
have
thinking of getting in that
Also
business. but-
coiffure.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so I'm going to ask you another question since I'm hosting the show today. I should interview all you guys from
You
now
should.
on.
You should.
We got a bunch of aspiring entrepreneurs that listen to the show. What advice would you give entrepreneurs, because you've been there?
Yeah.
And what's your biggest business fear?
Okay, advice for entrepreneurs. So just to preface that, I've been an entrepreneur since I was the age of 21. So let's just say it's been almost 20 years now.
Right.
Frig. And what advice would I give them is don't give up. If you really believe, I know that's so cliche, but there are so many, like being an entrepreneur is really like riding a roller coaster because you're constantly pushing yourself to your maximum potential. And then half the time when you push yourself to that level, you fail. So
And then
have
you gotta
to
push yourself
You
some
just
more.
keep failing. Like I have a print in my kitchen, and it says "fail again, fail better."
Yeah,
it's
well,
just like continue to
it's
push.
like it's like weightlifting, right? You
Totally,
You
yeah.
work to fail, and then
keep doing it again.
and then
Yeah.
your muscle gets bigger, and you can do more.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So give me an example, a life example of yourself at a time when you almost threw the towel, but you decided to stick through and push yourself some more.
Like which week? I do that on a regular basis. There was a time when I was running the massive tech show across Canada.
Yeah.
It was a conference that connected businesses with technology companies.
Yep.
I was expanding outside of Vancouver and moving into Calgary and into Toronto. And I was profitable in Vancouver, but Calgary and Toronto, not so much. What I did was I realized that a lot of the companies that I needed to forge relationships with were in Toronto. All of the big head offices were out there, and I needed to continue doing that. So even though I knew that I was losing money over there,
Yeah.
I continued to push forward, which helped me later on, even though it was kind of like more like following a gut thing where I knew that on the books, if I followed that and I just cut back to Vancouver, I would have at the time just still been in Vancouver with my relationships, but
Right.
I used...
Use it as a launch pad, basically.
I did, yeah. I used it as a launch pad, and I think that you've got to understand that those of us that are entrepreneurs tend to follow what we call our guts, but really it's an unarticulated experience that we don't quite know how to put words to yet. But we have to be careful of that too, because sometimes we can eat so much of our own bullshit that
you were-
because there's no one telling us otherwise.
Otherwise,
right?
yeah.
You're,
Others
you're
differently.
basically looking at the long term instead of just focusing on the
on short
the
term,
short
yeah.
term.
And I
Okay.
think your team too. The one other thing I would say is that
people
the
you work
smartest
with.
thing that I ever my best mentors always said, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And I do it every day. It's hard because they tell you when you're wrong, and it's hard to eat. You're the boss,
Yeah.
and they're sitting there saying, you know what, I don't agree with this for this reason. So you constantly have to weigh in the judges that you have around you.
Right.
When you're the leader,
Yeah.
you're getting judged every single moment of every day.
And you know
and
what?
figure that
Advocate
out.
to your team. You have a fabulous team. I run into some of your team members. I'm supposed to go for beer dates with a lot of them, and they speak very highly of you. So I
I'm
think
going to keep you away from the girls. No, I'm just kidding.
I've only met the guys, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, they seem to be really, really excited to work for your brand, and they say really good things about you. So let's go on to the next question. What's your biggest fear?
Spiders.
Business fear. Business fear.
Why can't I talk about that? It's actually a topic that's important to me.
No,
Okay.
no, that was
Spiders-
business. She's talking about
it's
spider-
actually.
No, no,
I
no.
want to talk about it.
She's
I
talking
guess
about
I shouldn't
Google
tell you there's a
spiders,
spider right
right?
next to you.
Google spiders. is what
Here's
you're
the thing: is
she's
I've
talking
actually the newest team member to Massive Media is Le Petit Francois, and he is a small wolf spider that is living under a baseboard in our office, and I am okay with him there. Normally, I will have someone strike out his life. Or push him outside, and I am trying to get over my phobia of spiders. So I just wanted to mention that and put voice to it, that I'm going to, within the next couple of months, do that. So this is more for me than anything. Sorry,
Spiders,
listeners.
eh?
that you
So it
had
wasn't
to-
Google spiders then.
No, it was
See,
actually
we
a
were
real
gonna geek
freaking
out
spider.
and go
I'm terrible.
spiders like Google spiders.
No, yeah, no. Real fears of business. Sorry.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Hold up. Hold up the question.
Okay.
Business. She was about to tell us your business fear.
That my bullshit isn't real.
Oh, that's relevant.
That's
It's true. It's like you're constantly you have to be your own biggest cheerleader. You have to believe in what you're putting out there, and you have to be at the beginning of the show saying this is the way we're going to go. This is the direction,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of pressure because you're kind of like, okay, am I right? Am I not right? And you're trying to balance all of these things around you in order to make sure that you're making the best decision when no one can actually tell you that except yourself.
Okay, so you mentioned that your clients, one particular platform could be better for them depending on where their customers are, where they're hanging out.
If
and
they're a
stuff
small
like that.
business, yeah.
Yeah. You personally, what's your favorite platform?
Google Plus.
Google
And
Plus.
why
Yeah.
Google Plus?
Because I believe in the long-term sustainability of where they're going.
Because of the search aspect?
Yeah, because I think that we don't need to pick for social platforms. We're in a time now where they all have their purpose. So Facebook is the one where I'm going to find my sister, what's going on with my family and my nieces and my nephews when I don't have time to catch up with them,
Yeah.
and it's going to be my really niche group.
It's the
Google Plus is
family and friends network.
totally, and Google Plus is the place that I'm going to connect with experts around the world that care about stupid little things like getting over my fear of spiders or taking over the internet. Like there's all of these niche groups that you wouldn't be able to connect
So
with.
you're instead of connecting on your existing physical network, you're connecting over like a niche topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
It's the Seth Godin's "We Are All Weird" tribe philosophy.
So, do you believe that Google Plus is SEO friendly? Because everybody asks this question now. Google authorships, Google Plus. Where is Google Plus going from an SEO point of view?
Are you asking from a sense of is the content that you put up there going to be searchable? Like when I'm
Absolutely.
looking for that,
Yeah.
I would assume so. I've never
is.
even tested it
It's
because I
indexed.
haven't.
It's indexed.
I would imagine.
Well, yeah, the underground playground say that it is indexed. So, which is why I've asked.
But you
this
don't come across it every day when you're searching. I haven't come across it recently in terms of saying, okay, here's
Yeah.
the latest platform or profile or
When I search the Bunker Project, I can see it comes up the Google Plus. results,
where
and we don't
what
do
else
anything.
where else do you guys exist though? Do you do most of your marketing through Google Plus?
No, we've got a Facebook page and we've got
Twitter.
and
WordPress sites.
It comes up.
They show up on Blossom's blog.
Exactly.
The beer blogs. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I've been trying to push that link
See,
up.
and that's fair because you probably have a really strong presence on there, whereas we
No,
haven't.
we don't. We don't. Actually,
oh.
we don't hardly post anything on there.
Okay.
And we want to start doing more.
Did I mention to you that these guys don't do marketing? The only form of marketing is podcasting, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's media though. It'll
Yeah.
speak for
Oh, yeah,
itself
yeah.
because it's all about content.
It's all,
So
just wait until Google starts to take all our audio and then transposes it.
To index the audio
and then
Translates the content into
audio.
text, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's going to be huge.
interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, it's 8 o'clock. A band's about to start. We're going to
Awesome.
shut it down.
Want to thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Coming
Nancy,
out.
you're awesome. I'd love to come visit you. Let's do coffee someday.
And come back on the show.
Come to the Bunker tomorrow night or not every second Wednesday after that. If you want to know anything about what's going on social media, she is awesome. Bosco's awesome. Andrew's awesome. I don't know. I'm just a drunk asshole. But you never know. I
Cheers
might
to that.
Cheers
say,
to that.
Oh, yeah.
You
Everybody
might
loves
have a great
drunk
idea
asshole.
because he is the great idea
I
maven.
am the great idea.
All right,
guy.
let's
I'm
wrap it
awesome.
up. Bob,
Okay.
thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, thanks,
and
Bosco.
much love to
Yeah,
the Social Media
beautiful.
Club.
Kisses all around.
Kisses
Bye,
all
guys.
around, and here's to balding. Love ya.
Awesome.
Okay, so
All right, bye-bye.
So you had fun?
yeah, that was funny.
This is what they do every.
All right, that's it, guys.